AIDS is associated with the lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender community. Now, though there are many LGBT people living with the disease, there's still a type of ignorance around the virus and the community that has led to different forms of discrimination towards those who aren't heterosexual. To help us address certain myths around the virus and the LGBT community, we are joined from Pretoria by Jay Matlou, a health officer and trainer at the OUT LGBT Wellbeing Organization. A very good morning, Jay. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me again.
Jay, tackle this scenario head on. Where are we with regards to stigmatization of the LGBT community?
Well, what I would say is we've come quite so far it's not so great. We live in a country where we've got the highest constitution, the highest law of the country protects our rights. But on the ground, people are still struggling to access services because of this part of their lives. So we still have quite a long while to go.
Jay, there are anti-gay organizations, often with religious connotations, that promote heterosexuality as a healthier choice. What do you say to that?
Well, that in itself is a problem because there's a strong assumption that being heterosexual is a choice. And we're talking about sexual orientation. Nobody chooses the sexual orientation. Everybody discovers it at different points in life. The only difference is people who discover that they're heterosexual, they have it easy in the sense that nobody questions it because it's expected to be like that. So for people who discover that they are not heterosexual but any other sexual minority is, it's a difficult journey. You get extremely stigmatized. We have myths that are perpetuating that being LGBT actually is wrong and you should be punished. And people go on journeys where they try to self-hate themselves. And in return, that puts them in vulnerable positions.
How do we get treated when members of the LGBT community go to get tested at clinics, hospitals and the like here in South Africa?
Well, for the organization that I work for, our organization, basically we specialize in giving direct services to the LGBT people. And we've got a clinic on site, and of course, we cannot manage the numbers that we're getting in. But we have that space basically because people, when they try to access mainstream services, they get rejected from being told that you deserve this kind of thing because you are this kind of person to, I'm sorry, but we cannot give you a service because you are this kind of person. So we still have a long way to go. There's still a lot of education needs to be done around sex and gender and sexuality in general. To specifically service providers, people in powerful position, people who have the power to either make or break a person by giving a service. So we still need to get into those institutions and integrate issues and challenges that the LGBT people go through.
Jay, now, if someone who is not heterosexual, they're being discriminated against, as out, what advice do you give them and what recourse do they have?
Well, first of all, people need to be extremely aware of their rights, that whenever they get denied a service because of this part of their lives, because of them being part of the LGBT, that it's illegal. They can actually press charges against that person or institution. So, but because we still have quite a gap between people knowing their complete rights, organizations and other LGBT organizations throughout the country, we work as bridges towards making people understand their rights so that should they come in such encounters, then they can contact us and we can look them up in terms of how to go on about it. And another part of that, another problem there is when people go to report this kind of cases, from sexual offenses to being denied services on other levels, is they get to experience what we call secondary victimization. And it's because where they report to as well, people still also don't understand these issues. People still largely think that this is a choice, that people choose to be part of the LGBT, even though we are every day see examples on how people's lives are because of this part of their lives, that it's very difficult to be an LGBT person in South Africa, even with the most accommodating highest law of the country saying it's okay to be who you are.
Jay Matlou, thank you for joining us live from Pretoria there, telling us that it's still difficult, despite our constitution protecting the rights of everybody, it's still difficult to be a member of the LGBT community. Those that don't know, of course, it's lesbian, gay, bisexual or transgender. It's still very difficult because you're being stigmatized here in South Africa. Today is World AIDS Day. Do we have other priorities now on the planet other than HIV/AIDS, or more important than HIV/AIDS? Well, in South Africa alone, 3,300 people die every week of the disease. That's the reality. 3,300 on average die every week in our country alone. It's World AIDS Day. Before we move on, we are once again joined by Kasi poet Magafula Vilekazi.
A quarrel in the blankets, a bra, a sock, a reminder that just now I slept dead in bed with a stranger. Ngifuna ukuba infect mfethu. Ngiwana bangifi ngiwana ngitobhanga lento ngithole emfaneni you don't know me ungangijaja ujahile but angizanga ne-AIDS. Ngifuna ukubapha yona labo abanyana khona abachitayo. Ngizobakhozela ama problem adlula ushukela. Le ngiphila nayo itikiti lami ngibhadalisa abangenaqiniso. Futhi ngithanda bona labo abanyana abashadile abazenza ongcwele esontweni ngama SUV wesikoloto. Ngizobalanda ngesicebe stadium, ngibakhiphela ithanga ngerestaurant, ngimtsipile elihlo ngimnika amanamba, angithinte sihlangane eRosebank siyeka umngane wakhe sishuka ama drinks, ngidakwe ngibe snacks ngathi ngifuna ukuhamba, ngihleke ngaphakathi ubaba ekhaya encenga ukufa. Ngisidakwe sesifubeni, angigugele ekamereni, angikhothebeleni ngathi ngiya-ice cream angehlisa G-string ngombhonsi, angihlebela amanga endleleni, ngimvulele yona yonke awufake esihogweni. Makethi condom ngiscreame ngathi ngiyafa, ngithi baby plastic yani ngifuna ukuzwa. Ngimbambele eduze ngimbize ngo sweet nothings, ngimvala ingqondo ngegoshi legigaba bambe very tight mayimngena ngimiyeke achamela ukufa ngifulathela light ugwaya khefuzele ngigqoka yongidropa yespread kulomfazi nyana wakhona ucanga ukuthi ubani wakuphi ukuthi angazongidla mangoba angashini enwele choma ngifuna ukum-infect angifuna ukusebenza ngizothi ngiyenzani esikoleni asinamsebenzi isidumbu esifundile emini ngibloma nabo umkhotsi hoshling sibhemi hit sidlala icrazy 8 erumini malishona ngiyogeza ngiboleka ikhavela kachomi ngisule ngevinika ngishala isicephe sami 100% strike rate ngiyobloma ephathisini ngegwarana lokugcina ngisidobhisa amacici angekho ba advertise leli nomhlolo baze babhriko Ben Bonyele bazibuzisa ama direction ngithi asambe bhuti ngikuhlobisela iFrancity hayi bhuti ngibambelani ngabhlungu kanje awungasho mafuna save uhlala lapha asambe manje ngikwenzela iblue move engena take 2 ngimncane anginangqondo ngifit and very yellow lonke lokushi la ngihalela joma ngizoba infect.
Well, that's the people's poet now on World AIDS Day. Some powerful words, very touching indeed. The imagery really apt for what we're dealing with today.